Hello and welcome to Rathod's IAS. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 27 February 2024. So, we are going to continue this method for today and tomorrow, and from day after tomorrow onwards, we are going to continue our current affairs in this digital board format only. Okay. So, as you know that we are shifting from online to offline. So, because of this, there are some technical glitches which are going on, so that I can't record the class by using digital board. Okay, so just please give me support and please encourage me for these 2 days. So please try to adjust with this analysis, and from day after tomorrow onwards we are going to have class on digital board itself. Okay, it is my sincere request. It is not like I lost my interest or because of decreasing of use. It is not at all related to that. So the reason is we are shifting from online to offline. So because of that, the digital board had been taken away from this recording room. So I am using the laptop here. Okay. So now let us see the first article in the front page of Delhi edition. So here I am taking Delhi edition. So whichever edition you have, you can go through that. There will be no problem regarding the edition. And let us see the articles. So first important article is several Indians released from Russian army, says Ministry of External Affairs. So as you all know that Russia-Ukraine war is still going on. It has been 2 years which has been completed. So now let us see the dimensions regarding this topic. Okay, so let us see the dimensions. So this article is talking about Russia-Ukraine crisis. I hope you can see the screen, right? Okay, so this article is talking about Russia-Ukraine crisis. So Russia started attack in this Ukraine. Why? Because Ukraine want to join NATO. And regarding this NATO also, there is one article like what former president of USA, that is Donald Trump, said about this NATO, and we are going to see that article as well. So NATO, it is military organization of Western countries. So if you see background of this NATO, so this NATO which has been formed during Cold War era. Okay, so during this Cold War era, so at that time we have two power blocks. So on one side we have USA, on another side we have USSR. Okay, so USA came up with this NATO, and to counter this NATO, USSR came up with this Warsaw Pact. Okay, it came up with this Warsaw Pact, and many European countries, they are part of this NATO, and even recently Sweden, Finland, and Ukraine, they are also showing some interest to join this NATO, right? So whenever NATO, which Ukraine is joining this NATO, means now these forces, they will be stationing across this Ukraine-Russia border. So Russia don't want us, and Russia don't want Ukraine to join this NATO. So this is the primary reason behind the war between Russia and Ukraine. Okay. So what happened? Yes, to do war, what is the requirement? Yes, we need forces. Or we can also call them as we need troops. So what Russia did is, not only from India, but from different countries, Russia recruited people to join these forces. Okay. And there are hundreds of Indians, they joined these forces of Russia. And actually many a times they requested embassy because they want to come back. So why these people who joined these forces, they are requesting Indian embassy? Because their passports, their visa, they had been confiscated. So they want some help. So they are reaching out this embassy to help. And finally this article says that so many Indians, they came back. Right, so this is the thing which mainly said, and now let us see some important dimensions that you have to see from this article point of view. So now let us see this article in detail, and as usual this article is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. And I want to start this discussion by using these notes by telling a quote. So always I will be motivating my students, and I will always support and encourage my students. Okay, and if you want to meet me directly, and you can come to office okay, from 1st onwards. So from 1st of March onwards, for sure you can come to office. Yesterday itself we got chairs, okay, and still some work is going on. So that will be completed within 2 to 3 days. So from 1st March onwards, I will be talking to students directly, and I will be mentoring the students for sure, okay. And even I will be giving the address of office, okay, in the Google Maps, and I will be giving the link of the correct exact location of that so and so institute soon in the description box. So by using that location, you can directly approach the office. Okay, so our quote is, rarest of all human qualities, consistency. And I want to see simple statistic, that is around 12 to 13 lakh students, they will be applying for UPSC every year. Yes or no? Around 12 to 13 lakhs. And out of this, around 7 to 8 lakhs people, they will be appearing examination. So how many posts will be there? Around 1000 to 1100 posts, or even sometimes it will be less than 1000 posts will be there every year. So why only some students they are cracking this examination? So what about the rest? So the one important quality that every UPSC aspirant should have, that is consistency. So along with hard work, smart work, perseverance, you need consistency. That means you have to do the things repeatedly. You have to make them as a habit. So consistency is very important, and this quality is seen in very less people, okay. That is, it is a very rarest quality. So I want this rarest quality to be there in all of my students, okay. So consistency is very important. So if you are maintaining this consistency, discipline, then automatically you can achieve success in your life, okay. So let me know how many students are consistently watching this Hindi analysis, okay, so that I will be checking your consistency. So now let us see this first article. It is about several Indians they released from Russian army, says Ministry of External Affairs. And this topic is important from GS paper to international relations, okay. So if you see here, I collected the content not only from Hindu, but even some other sources like Wired and as well as Print to say this article in detail, okay. So you may confuse like, so I didn't find this content in Hindu. So it is the content not only from Hindu but even other newspapers also. So here context says that Ministry of External Affairs, that is MEA, said that several Indians who joined Russian army were already discharged after such cases were strongly taken up with the Russian authorities. So now what happened? Several Indians who already joined this Russian army, so they are already discharged after such cases were strongly taken up by Russian authorities. And here ministry said that some inaccurate reports in media regarding Indians with the Russian army seeking help for discharge. So even there is spread of misinformation, inaccurate information is going on. And now this Hindu had reported that several workers they hired as security helpers for this Russian army, okay, and those people they have approached Indian embassy in Russia seeking government's help to return home, okay, but they are saying that they didn't receive any response from Indian embassy. And as you all know that Russian army recruited about hundreds of Indians at its Moscow recruitment center. And over a past year, so according to official who works for the Russian Ministry of Defense. And even the contracted period between these people and this Russian army, it is about a minimum of 1 year, and there will be no leave or exit allowed before 6 months. And workers they are offered with a salary of 1.95 lakh along with 50,000 rupees as bonus. And now here, because of the pressure, because of the tensions, so now the workers they are undergoing a psychometric test, and based on that they will be analyzing about the risk before they send for training. So after this report only here these people, contractors, so they will be seeing like whether those persons they are fit or not, okay. And if you see here, one more important challenge here is, so here they are mainly committed, okay, to like they should not be going to the battlefield, but sometimes here they will be also sent to this battlefield, and they may be also asked to work as porters. So for this also their consent will be taken. And if you see some more important things, the workers, they claim that their passports and documents, they have been confiscated, and despite deliberate pleas for help with the Indian embassy in Moscow, so their requests have gone unanswered. So this is about this topic. And now let us move back to our newspaper. So this is the only one important article from the front page. And you can move to this states page. Okay, here you can see this page number 4. So in this page number 4 also most of the articles I found, they are political articles, so there is no need of touching those articles. Okay, and next let us move on to next topic. So here you can see like 2.43 lakh CAPF personnels recruited in past 5 years, says our Union Home Minister. So this article which is talking about CAPF, Central Armed Police Forces. So you have to know why it is in news. That means what are the reasons. Okay, so first one is why, what are the reasons. And next important one is you have to see what are the important features of this CAPF. And you have to see what are the examples of this CAPF. Okay. And you have to see like what is the significance. Okay, what is the significance? So all these are very, very important from your GS paper 3 point of view under defense, or even under internal security also. So now let us see this topic in detail. So what is the context? Context is very simple. Our Union Home Minister said that in last 5 years about 2.43 lakh Central Armed Police Forces they had been recruited. So it is now your turn to know some facts regarding this CAPF, right? Central Armed Police Forces. It is a collective name of central police organizations. So under which ministry they come? It is obviously under Ministry of Home Affairs. So because of that, our Home Minister, he made a statement. And he also said that they are technically paramilitary forces. And they are also known as Central Paramilitary Forces. And since 2011 onwards, so India adopted this term of Central Armed Police Forces. Okay, so these forces, they are responsible for internal security, and even they will be focusing on guarding of our borders. Okay, so how many are there? So we have 7 CAPF. For example, we have Assam Rifles, we have Border Security Force, Central Industrial Security Force, and Central Reserve Police Force CRPF, and even Indo-Tibetan Border Force, National Security Guard, Sastra Seema Bal. So these are some important examples for this security forces. And what are the issues? The first one is working conditions. So the Standing Committee on Home Affairs in year 2017, which had expressed concern over the working conditions are not at all good. And next one is this committee which also observed that here they had to work about 16 to 18 hours a day, so that they are left with a very less sleep and as well as lack of rest. And the personnel were also not satisfied with medical facilities or facilities. So what about the facilities that are present for this medical, that means hospitals or medicines or any other infrastructure, etc. So that is provided not properly. So they are not providing those facilities at the border locations. And even the Standing Committee observed that the personnel of CAPF has not been treating as par with these armed forces, and they are not getting proper pay and as well as allowances as well. And even one more problem here is there is increasing of suicide rates in these forces. Okay, so in the last 3 years, so about 436 persons they died by suicide in the Central Armored Police Forces and as well as from Assam Rifles. And there is also ineffective coordination between state police and as well as CRPF leadership. So states are over dependent on the CRPF for maintaining the various law and order situations. And even they will also continuous deployment of training companies, and even they are focusing on how to improving on this operational efficiency. And there is also high vulnerability of attacks. So the deployment levels of CRPF personnel, they are very high and overstretched, and that is also leading to compromised training and vulnerability to attacks. And actually recently in 2019 Pulwama attack was carried out, right? So this Pulwama attack in in Kashmir by the suicide bomber resulting in the death of 40 CRPF personnel. So what happened in this Pulwama attack was in 2019. So the vehicles of the CRPF, they were directly targeted by this terrorist, and about 40 CRPF persons they had been lost their life in this Pulwama attack. And if you see, one more important challenge here is bureaucratization of forces. So majority of this higher post of top hierarchy, they are filled by deputations like IPS officers, who the most of the times they fail to take adequate steps for welfare of the cadre. And it's what is, there is also a lack of infrastructure. So there is lack of electricity at several installations of this border outpost, and that is affecting the working conditions of this persons and as well as operations of the CAPF. And one is these affect the overall morale of the forces, leaving them psychologically vulnerable. And often it also decides or incidences of suicide. So there is also increased events of suicides and shooting down of colleagues come in light, etc. So in this way there are lots and lots of challenges that are seen in this CAPF. And next topic it is about TM. Okay, so TM is very important from your art and culture point of view. So there is a high chance of getting question regarding this TM. So TM, it is a popular ritual form of dance, and through this dance form here people they will be worshipping in Kerala, Karnataka, okay, regions. So it is like a 1,000-year-old tradition, rituals and as well as customs, and the people they consider TM itself, it is a channel to a good, and thus they seek blessings from this TM. So each TM, it is a man, okay, each TM is a man or a woman, okay, each TM is a man or woman, so who attained divine status by performing heroic deeds. And next one here is they are the strong associations with those principal deities of humanism. So these are some important facts regarding this TM. So I want to give you one prelims practice questions which already appeared in 2014. That is, consider the following pairs: Garba from Gujarat, Mohiniyattam Odisha, Yakshagana from Karnataka. So which of the following pairs given above is or correctly matched? So please let me know answer for this question in the comment box. Don't forget. So now let us see next topic. Let us move directly to this editorial page. So in this editorial page there is nothing much important. Okay. So let us move on to this op-ed page or opinion page. So in this page there is very important topic, that is about land management policy, and even today's mains question is based on this topic, that is land management policy. So title says an expansive land management policy is overdue. So this article, yes, let us see the dimensions so that you can understand like how to study this topic. Okay, so this article is talking about land management policy. Okay, so here we are focusing on this land. Land is a very important resource we have, but because of some anthropogenic activities we are also exploiting this land. So because of this exploitation, so we are facing some adverse events. For example, droughts, etc. For example, decreasing of agricultural productivity. And also we are seeing that increasing of soil pollution day by day. Okay, and even climate change also one important thing that we can add. So here this article is talking about data regarding how we are polluting the land, and even some prospects regarding this, what will be the impact in the future on food security. And it is also talking about what are the steps can be taken or what is a way forward, and how it is also having impact on environment and ecology, and as well as biodiversity. So this topic is at most important from your GS paper 3, and we can connect different subjects like GS paper 3 under economy, under science and technology, under environment and ecology, under geography. So in these areas we can connect this topic. So let us see this topic in detail. So this article is talking about land management policy, right? So land, it is central to all human activities. So for all human activities, land is very important. So land is providing different types of services like ecological services, economic services, social services, and also culture services, etc. And it is a multi-dimensional character. It is very, very important, and we are overlooking this land management practices. So because of that, we are providing lots and lots of stress to the land, and that also leads to land degradation, and also environment is drawing down because of those exploitation of land. And if you see this box which is talking about data globally, that means across the globe, the annual losses of ecosystem services due to land degradation, which has been estimated at $6 trillion. Okay, globally the annual losses of this ecosystem services due to land degradation, which has been estimated at $6 trillion. And even United Nations, so United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, okay, so it also says that in 2019 it discussed the problem of this land degradation. This land degradation is a problem which is mainly faced by the number of countries, different countries, and they are finding the new ways of achieving land degradation neutrality. Okay, so they are finding the ways of achieving this land degradation neutrality. And even IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it is also focusing on climate change and land 2019, and they are suggesting the country level stock taking of land management practices. And if you're talking about what are the challenges that you are facing in India regarding this land, so India is having just 2.4% of world's geographical area, but if you are comparing the population, so population is huge, like 17% of world population is living in India in just 2.4% of world's geographical area. That means I can say like there is increasing of pressure, yes or no? So there is increasing of pressure on land. And even arable land in India is around 55% of total geographical area, and even the forest cover, which accounts another 22%. So the rest which we are having like deserts, we are having mountains, hills, etc. So that covers around 30% of total geographical area in the degraded land. And this one is the developmental targets and the demand for the land to accommodate the growing population and even infrastructure, rapid urbanization, and social and cultural and environmental aspects. They are placing unprecedented pressure on land. And because of this, it is resulting in more competition. It is resulting in more competition among the farmers and between agriculture and other land resource based sectors. And even because of all these things, there is increasing of conflicts, there is increasing of price of land, and even changing of the land rights. So not only it is adversely affecting the livelihood opportunities of the people, and even it is having the direct impact on environmental resources. Okay, and because of this, whenever there is increasing of stress on this land, that is leading to some disasters like floods, droughts, temperature rise, and environmental pollution. So those are the some events that we are facing. And if you're talking about this land management, it falls under the purview of state governments. And further, cultural land is privately owned, and land use decisions, they are constitutionally vested with the owner. So apart from this administrative complexity, the challenges to adopt and to implement appropriate land management practice in India, like we have to know where the gaps are there, like where we are lagging behind. And we can come with a short-term planning, and as well as we can come up with a long-term plan. And if you're talking about what can be done, like what is the way forward, so we can come up with a multi-stakeholder platform. Like we can include land managers, policy makers, civil society organizations, business leaders, investors under a common platform. And according to Article 243ZD1 of Indian Constitution, which provides about we need district planning committees, and these district planning committees, they will consolidate the plans from panchayats and as well as municipalities. And we can also focus on this landscape approach. It will be useful in this context as it will provide deep insights into assess the potential of land and also the scope of allocation and the reallocation of land for appropriate uses. Okay, so we can come up with a proper approach so that we can understand like how allocation is done, how reallocation can be done, how can we use this land, and how we are going for evaluation, negotiation, trade and decision making. So all these things we can understand. And even Indian parliamentarians, that is the people who are elected, like who are members of parliament like MPs, so they have to initiate some deliberations on emerging challenges for integrated land management practices, and even they will be helpful to devise appropriate policies for long-term sustainability by involving all actors across the state, so both horizontal and as well as vertical actors, so we can involve them. So we can also involve these parliamentarians, and we have to initiate the deliberations, and we have to focus on the emerging challenges, etc. So all these things that you have to focus. And next one is our text and context. Let us go to this text and context page. So before that, there is one article that is record drop in Suez Canal transit due to Houthis attack. Okay, so Suez Canal is very important. It is artificial, right? So what happened since November 2023 onwards, Houthis, they started attacking the ships which are moving in this Suez Canal. Okay, so now let us see this article in detail, and let us come back to see the data here. So I will give you the overview like what you have to know. So this article is talking about trade through Suez Canal. So we have Red Sea. So because of this Ukraine-Palestine issue, so Palestinians, they are now supported by these Houthis of Yemen and also Iran. So Iran is also supporting these Houthis. So now Iran says that we want to control this Red Sea. So it is not sharing direct boundary with this Red Sea, but how this Iran is going to control Red Sea? So it is using these Houthis of Yemen. So Yemen is sharing direct boundary, right? So here Houthis, they started attacking the vessels which are moving in this Red Sea. Okay. So because of this, now the trade had been decreased, or the transit had been decreased, okay, which is moving in this region. That's it. So here if you see this article, it says that, I hope you can see now, right? Since November 2023, Houthis in Yemen, they launched, okay. So Houthis in Yemen, they launched attacks on ships. They are moving in this Red Sea region. And how it says their actions, they are in solidarity with Palestinians who were caught in this Hamas-Israel war, and they are disrupting the trade through this critical waterway, and this water which is connecting Asia and Europe. So companies, they are rerouting their ships to avoid the Suez Canal, and they are opting instead of a longer route. So they are opting for this longer route around this Cape of Good Hope. Okay, and if you are talking about the Suez Canal, it will handle around 12% to 15% of global trade in 2023. And even UNCTAD came with a report that this container tonnage across this canal fell by 82% in the first half of February. And on the other hand, here container tonnage passing around this Cape of Good Hope increased by 60%. So I have to show you the image here so that you can understand the things better. Okay, so here we have Africa, here we have like West Asia, so here we have Red Sea. So rather than this route, so they are moving towards this Cape of Good Hope and reaching India. So because of that, there will be increasing of transit time period. Yes, and now let us move on to next topic. So next topic is our text and context. So there are two important articles in this text and context. So one is Russia's economy after 2 years of war. So how the economy of Russia was. And next one, it is about NATO. So what is the latest row between Trump and NATO? So these two are very important articles. Okay, so first let us see about Trump and NATO. So former US President, that is Donald Trump, he threatened to withdraw support to NATO because here European NATO which and allies, they step up their defense expenditure. So they are increasing their expenditure, so that they said that it is your failure, so we are not going to withdraw. Okay, so we are not going to take any money. So this is the thing which mainly said. And if you're talking about details, it says that while direct funding of euro 3.8 billion is required by 2024 budget and has been fulfilled by the members to continue this NATO operations. And one more thing here you have to focus here is, so NATO operations and military commandos and equal operation or equal contribution to the indirect funding. So it is a long standing problem. So US has been one of the major shareholder. So US has been one of the major shareholder of NATO's defense, although its GDP spending ranged from high and low tendencies, losing its support entirely would take decades to NATO to revive its military arsenal. And even if you're talking about some facts regarding this NATO, so NATO was formed in year 1949. So after signing this Washington Treaty, so NATO, it is a security alliance of 30 countries from North America and Europe at that time. So recently Finland also joined this alliance as 31st member. And NATO's fundamental goal, it is to safeguard the allies' freedom and security by the political and military means. And it is a systematic or system of collective defense where independent member states, they agree, okay, so where the independent member states agree for mutual defense in case of any attack by external party. And even if you see this Article 5 of this Washington Treaty, so this Article 5 which states that an attack against one ally, it is an attack against all. So the article which forms the core of alliance, so it is a promise of collective defense. So if you're talking about headquarters in Belgium, in Brussels. So if you're talking about what are the functions of this NATO, you have to remember two important functions. So one is political functions. So NATO promotes democratic values and enables members to consult and to cooperate on defense and security related issues. And even they will provide in this military operations, like NATO is committed to be the peaceful resolution. Okay, so it is committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes, and if diplomatic efforts fail, it has the military power to enable to undertake this crisis management. So they are focusing on this crisis management problems, and even they will be focusing on these political issues. So these are the two important things regarding these functions of NATO. And now let us see next topic. It is about Russia's economy after 2 years of war. So this article is also very important. And if you see the context, it says that a formal cap has been imposed on buying or processing of Russian oil sold for more than $60 per barrel. Okay, and also in theory, it is illegal to sell Russia anything that could be used by the military. So if you see details, so despite of all of this, Russia's economy has not collapsed. Okay, so it is now entirely focused on long war in Ukraine. So here, which is actually driving the economic growth. So the IMF expects Russia's experience of GDP to growth by 2.6% this year. And even military pay and ammunition, tanks, planes or compensation, so they are important. They are contributing a lot to these GDP figures. And if you see here, the war against Ukraine is now the main driver of Russia's economic growth. And it is a war that Russia cannot afford to win. So because of this here, the cost of rebuilding and maintaining of security is concurred, and this Ukraine would be too great. Okay. So if you're talking about mains question, is based on this land management policy. That is like what it is imperative to set up multi-stakeholder platform at the district and sub-district levels for an efficient land policy. Comment. So the keyword is comment. So you have to comment on that. So try to write answer for this question and post in the comment box. And now let us see other important articles. Let us move on to this news page. Here you can see one article, that is Center examining India tech firm on European Union and US sanctions list. So here you can see this infographic, so that you will be getting lots of content here itself. So European Union came up with the latest sanctions after second anniversary of Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, so here SI2 Microsystems has been banned from transactions within European Union for dual-use technological goods. And even the firm had signed a collaboration with the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and IIT Madras for production of silicon chips. And even it had been bankruptcy courts on account of non-payment of debris they are owing to come. Okay, they are owing or owners on this lockout circular in 2021 when he sought permission to travel Russia. So actually, so there is also one more issue, that is bankruptcy, which is going on. Okay, so it has been in bankruptcy court on account non-payment of debt. So whenever there is non-payment of debt or there, so they are going out to the other countries, or they are coming to the different countries, or the owner was on lockout circular. Okay, so that here we need to take the permissions to travel to Russia. So these are some important things which mainly said here. And now let us see the next topic. It is PM launches 2000 railway infra projects worth 41,000 crore. So here you have to know about what is this technology, and you have to know about what are these infrastructure projects, and especially in your geography and economy point of view, you can connect this article. So our Prime Minister launched more than 2,000 rail infrastructure projects, and the worth is around rupees 41,000 crores. And he also laid foundation for 554 Amrit Bharat stations. So it is a government initiative to revamp the key railway stations across the country and across 25 states, and inaugurated rail over bridges and under bridges. So it is very important thing, like, so you have to see like what are the challenges. So what are the challenges faced by this railway sector, and you have to say like what is the way forward or what is the measures. And if you move on, so most of the articles are political articles, there is no need of discussing those, and you can directly go on. And here you can see very important articles, that is grant permanent commission to women. Supreme Court says even to the Coast Guard. So actually now we got this permanent commission for army, right? Supreme Court Monday urged this Indian Coast Guard to ensure that women, they are to be granted, okay, this permanent commission. So women cannot be left out. Okay, so this is a thing which mainly said, and already we discussed about this permanent commission number of times. Go through this article once. And this one is India specific artificial intelligence model to find gestational age is developed. So here research has developed India specific artificial intelligence model. So it is precisely determining the gestational age of fetus from 2 to 3rd trimester, that is from 2nd to 3rd trimester. So this model has been developed by researchers at this Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, okay, and also Transnational Health and Science Technological Institute, Faridabad. Okay, so here this is Garbhini GA2. So the name here is Garbhini GA2. Okay, it is a first trimester, and later on we will be having the second trimester, it is Garbhini GA2, which accuses like greatly eliminates or estimates that the fetus age randomly error by an artificial intelligence host 3 times. So Indian data which also will be helpful to provide appropriate care of pregnant women and also that will be helpful to determine the precise date of birth of child, and as well as precise reducing or precise things and reducing the maternal and as well as infant mortality rate. So this is one important technology that you have to remember. And in the world page, on the business page, you can see this article, that is India seeks permanent solution to public food stockpile issue. So even though here we exporting food grains to other countries, so we are the country which is facing lots and lots of hunger. And even if you want to attain this sustainable development goal, okay, that is zero hunger, so we need to maintain the stockpile. So here the government said that we are going to resolve this issue soon. Okay, so these are the very important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I am controlling. Okay, so by this I am concluding. So here there is one more article that is about will color molecules make quantum computers accessible. So here you have to know about what is this quantum computer technology and what are the challenges and what are the advantages. So that's it, nothing more, nothing less. So by this I am ending my discussion here, and from day after tomorrow onwards, as usual, we will be having class by using the digital board. So until then, today and tomorrow, so please do cooperate, students. And one more thing here is, if you like this class, please hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends also. And please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy. So thank you so much for watching.